You think if both of you are in no contact, it means the bond must still be real, still be powerful, still be waiting for the right moment. But sometimes silence is not proof of love. Sometimes silence is proof that neither one of you knows how to build something real. Let that hit you because a lot of you are secretly romanticizing the distance. You call it space. You call it healing. You call it timing. But if you keep needing truth instead of comfort, subscribe, because you do not need more soft lies whispered into your weakness. You need reminders. You need clarity when your emotions start rewriting history. You need somebody to tell you what your ego does not want to hear. Here's what it really means when both of you are in no contact. It does not automatically mean the connection is deep. It does not automatically mean you are both thinking of each other. It does not automatically mean reunion is coming. It means there is no relationship happening. That is the truth. No calls, no effort, no repair, no clarity, no movement, just absence. And if all you have is absence, then stop dressing it up like devotion. That is the first misconception. You think mutual silence means mutual care. You think because neither of you reached out, the feelings must be equal. But equal what? Equal maturity? Not necessarily equal love, not necessarily. Equal fear? Maybe. Equal pride? Very possible. Equal confusion? Almost guaranteed. Do you see the difference? Silence is not a language with one meaning. You are trying to translate it in the way that hurts least. That is not wisdom. That's emotional self-protection. And the hard truth is this: no contact reveals what words used to hide. When two people stop talking, all the explanations disappear, all the promises fade, all the future talk gets stripped away. What remains? Pattern, reality, capacity. If someone wanted to build something real with you and had the emotional strength to do it, silence would not be their long-term strategy. If you wanted peace more than fantasy, you would stop using their silence as evidence and start using it as information. That's called acceptance, not weakness, not giving up. Acceptance. Why does this happen? Why do two people who clearly had emotion end up locked in silence like statues? Both waiting, both hurting, both doing nothing. Because emotion without maturity creates paralysis. Because attraction without alignment creates confusion. Because chemistry without character creates chaos. And because many people do not know how to repair. They know how to feel. They know how to miss. They know how to stalk, wonder, replay, compare, imagine. But they do not know how to communicate cleanly, take responsibility, and build trust after tension. That's the root cause. It is not just that one of you misses the other. It is that both of you, in your own ways, may be addicted to the emotional intensity while being unprepared for the emotional responsibility. Big difference. One feels dramatic, the other builds a life. And if you are honest, part of you likes the ambiguity because ambiguity keeps hope alive without forcing action. If nobody speaks, nobody gets rejected. If nobody reaches out, nobody has to be vulnerable. If nobody defines it, nobody has to face the truth that maybe it was real feelings but wrong foundation. So you both sit there in silence, in suspense, in the theater of almost. That's called avoidance. And avoidance has a price. It costs you focus. It costs you sleep. It costs you self-respect. It costs you presence in your actual life. You start living in mental reruns instead of present-day decisions. You check your phone with a nervous system tied to someone who is not even showing up. You start measuring your worth by who breaks first. You start turning restraint into a competition. You start asking, what if they miss me? Instead of asking the better question, why am I still emotionally available to someone who is not actively building with me? You stop training the way you should train. You stop working the way you should work. You stop laughing freely. You stop meeting life head on. You stop becoming. And all because a part of you is standing guard at the door of a dead conversation, hoping a ghost walks back in and finally says what you needed months ago. Listen carefully. Your life cannot stay on hold while your fantasy negotiates with reality. Presence versus silence, reality versus fantasy, self respect versus obsession. Pick your side, because here is the reframe: no contact is not always punishment. No contact is not always manipulation. No contact is not always a game. Sometimes it is exposure. It exposes the truth of the bond. It exposes the limits of both people. It exposes whether what existed was actually sustainable or whether it only felt powerful because it was inconsistent. Some of you were never addicted to the person. You were addicted to the uncertainty, the highs, the lows, the wondering, the craving, the relief. That is not love. That is intermittent reinforcement. That is your nervous system confusing unpredictability with significance, and that confusion will make you chase what hurts you. So let's go deeper. If both of you are in no contact, there are only a few possibilities, and none of them are solved by you sitting there decoding digital silence like it is sacred scripture. Either one, the bond lacked the maturity to survive pressure. Two, one or both of you are choosing pride over repair. Three, one or both of you know deep down this does not lead anywhere healthy. Or four, life force distance and neither of you has the courage or skill to bridge it properly. You know what all four have in common? In you still do not have a relationship. You have a gap. And a gap is not a commitment. This is where you need to grow up emotionally, because the immature mind asks, who is thinking about who? The mature mind asks, what is actually being built? The immature mind asks, who will break no contact first? The mature mind asks, why would I want a dynamic where honest communication feels like losing? The immature mind treats silence like strategy. The mature mind treats silence like data, and data is useful if you respect it. Now picture the man who understands this. Not the loud man, not the bitter man, not the man posting revenge quotes at midnight and pretending he is locked in. I'm talking about the grounded man, the man whose self-respect is not theatrical, the man who does not beg, does not chase, does not perform indifference, and does not secretly build his whole week around whether one person comes back. He feels the loss, yes. He does not numb it with arrogance, but he also does not kneel before it. He knows that silence can mean many things, but none of them excuse him from leading himself. He wakes up and handles his body. He handles his work. He handles his word. He does not weaponize no contact. He uses it. He uses it to see clearly. He uses it to detach from fantasy. He uses it to observe who he becomes when attention is removed. He asks better questions. Where was I tolerating less than I needed? Where was I hoping chemistry would carry what character could not? Where did I abandon my standards because I did not want to lose the connection? Where did I confuse being chosen with being valued? That man becomes dangerous in the best way. Not dangerous because he hurts people. Dangerous because he cannot be controlled by mixed signals. Dangerous because he no longer bargains with disrespect. Dangerous because his loneliness does not outrank his standards. Dangerous because when he says, I want peace, he means peace built on truth, not peace purchased by self-betrayal. That is the man you need to become, not colder, clearer, not harder, stronger, not detached from feeling, detached from delusion. So what do you do if both of you are in no contact right now and your mind keeps spinning? First, stop turning silence into a love story. Stop narrating. Stop assuming. Stop assigning noble meaning to a lack of action. If it is not being expressed in reality, it does not get to dominate your inner world like it is sacred. Feel it? Yes. Worship it? No. Second, stop checking for signs. No more decoding stories, statuses, playlists, timestamps, views, indirect posts, fake coincidences. That is not connection. That is self-torture with Wi-Fi. Every time you go looking for a clue, you reinforce the belief that your peace is somewhere outside your control. It isn't. Third, tell the truth in one sentence. Not a speech, not a novel. one sentence. Right now, there is no relationship here. Say it until your body stops resisting it because clarity is medicine even when it stings. Fourth, redirect your energy violently but intelligently. Train, build, read, write, work, clean your environment, fix your sleep, stack disciplined days. Not to distract yourself forever, but to reclaim command of your attention. Emotion needs movement, pain needs structure, chaos needs a container. If you just sit in it, it rots. If you direct it, it refines you. Fifth, review your standards. What do you actually require in a relationship now? Consistency, communication, emotional responsibility, shared values. Good. Then stop making exceptions for people who only offer intensity. Intensity can kiss you and still ruin your life. Stability is not boring when your self respect is intact. Stability is where trust lives. Sixth, if there is ever contact again, meet it with clarity, not hunger. Do not respond from relief, respond from standards. Do not ask, how fast can I get this back? Ask, what would have to be true for this to be healthy? If there is no clear answer, the silence taught you what words could not. And if contact never comes, then good, because now reality has made the decision your fear kept postponing. Painful, yes, but clean, and clean pain heals faster than dirty hope. Some of you need to hear this next part in a way that shakes you awake. Missing each other is not enough. Thinking about each other is not enough. Feeling a bond is not enough. Potential is not enough. History is not enough. If it does not become honesty, effort, responsibility, and peace, then it does not deserve permanent access to your mind, your body, your future, or your identity. You were not put here to become a shrine to unfinished connections. You are not built to sit in emotional limbo calling it loyalty. You are not meant to spend your best years proving that your heart can survive confusion. Of course, it can survive confusion. The better question is why you keep volunteering for it. Maybe because clarity feels like loss at first. Maybe because if you let go of the fantasy, you have to meet yourself again. You have to face the empty space where obsession used to be. You have to build routines, values, and purpose strong enough to hold you without drama. You have to become the source instead of begging life to send you a signal. That is hard, but that is adulthood. That is power. That is freedom. And once you understand this, no contact stops being a haunted hallway. It becomes a mirror. It shows you whether you are still a slave to uncertainty or whether you are ready to become someone anchored, someone with a center, someone who does not need another person's inconsistency to feel alive. Because the strongest version of you does not need closure from someone else to create direction for himself. He can grieve and still move. He can care and still choose distance. And he can remember and still release. He can be disappointed without becoming desperate. He can love without losing his name. Read that again in your mind. He can love without losing his name. That is self-respect. And self-respect changes everything. It changes what you tolerate. It changes what you chase. It changes how long you wait. It changes the stories you tell yourself at night. It changes whether silence feels like power over you or simply information for you. It changes whether you keep asking, do they want me? Or start asking, am I living in a way that honors who I am becoming? That is the shift. So, if both of you are in no contact, stop obsessing over whether the silence is mutual. Start deciding what the silence will make of you. Will it make you smaller, more anxious, more dependent on crumbs and signs and digital breadcrumbs? Or will it make you honest, disciplined, grounded, selective, strong enough to stop confusing longing with alignment? You get to choose. And make no mistake, that choice is shaping your identity right now. Every day you spend feeding fantasy, you train weakness. Every day you face reality and still move with purpose, you train power. Not fake power, quiet power. The kind that does not need to announce itself. The kind that protects your peace. the kind that makes your future relationships healthier because you finally learned that love without structure is just emotional weather. So, let the silence teach you. Let it strip away your illusions. Let it show you what is not being built. Let it reveal where your standards were negotiable. Let it force you back into your own life because this is not about becoming cold. This is about becoming whole. This is about ending the habit of treating your pain like proof that you should stay attached. This is about remembering that your value does not rise when somebody returns and does not collapse when somebody disappears. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are choosing what kind of life gets your energy. You are choosing what kind of love gets access to you. You are choosing whether your future will be built on clarity or cravings. And when you finally understand that, something changes. Your chest opens up, your thinking sharpens, the neediness fades, the noise quiets. You stop asking the silence to explain itself. You simply hear it for what it is, and then you move. That is when your power comes back. Not because they texted, not because they came back, not because you won no contact, because you returned to yourself. That is the win. You are the answer, not their message, not their timing, not their confusion. You, your standards, your discipline, your clarity, your willingness to face truth without collapsing. That is what saves you. That is what rebuilds you. That is what makes you someone who can love deeply without abandoning himself. So stand up straight, breathe, stop feeding the fantasy, stop negotiating with what is absent, stop calling ambiguity destiny. Choose the real, choose the clean pain, choose the grounded path, choose the version of you that would rather be alone in peace than attached in confusion. And if you want more truth like this, more clarity when your emotions start lying to you, subscribe. Not for me, for you. So you remember who you are when loneliness gets loud. So you stay anchored when your mind wants to run backward. So you keep building a life that does not depend on somebody else's uncertainty. Stay close. Stay sharp. You are not the only one walking this path, and you do not have to walk it like a beggar again.